Let's now talk about something that's often brushed under the rug: depression. Not the kind you experience after a bad day at work or after an unfortunate event that leaves you sad. I'm talking about the persistent, unshakable feeling of being lost with no solution in sight, the lack of motivation to do anything, dwelling on the past too much, or fretting about the future too much, the constant sense of guilt or worthlessness. Now, in all fairness, we've all experienced some or all of this at some point in our lives, and we've learned to get over it and move on. But some people don't. In some cases, it's a serious medical condition. It affects daily work, it hurts relationships, and evolves into a chronic health condition sometimes. This depression requires help, medical and psychiatric. The problem is, not everybody seeks it. People avoid the subject and the problem, some out of shame and fear of stigma, some because they don't want to share personal details, and some because they feel they can deal with it themselves. Now, this depression is hard to confirm or quantify, but that's set to change. Thanks to science, we may now have the first ever cure for depression, a blood test that can confirm depression and match you to the right medication. The so-called cure is part of a breakthrough study, a study by the Indiana University School of Medicine. It was published in April this year. 7 months on, health experts are endorsing it. What does the study say? It talks about a blood test composed of RNA biomarkers. This may sound complicated, it's not. RNA is ribonucleic acid. It is a basic component of our cells. Biomarkers are molecules found in the body that are signs of a condition or a disease, like markers. So this test has RNA biomarkers. And the test can tell you 3 things. 1, how serious your depression is. 2, whether you'll experience severe depression in future. And 3, if you're at risk of developing bipolar disorder. How can you possibly know all of this through a blood test? It's a fascinating process. Allow me to explain. You see, every system in the body, the brain, the nervous system, the immune system, they all have a common developmental root. So when you're happy or depressed, there's a certain psychological and neurological reaction that affects all the systems. You feel it. Your body releases certain hormones that affect your immune system and blood supply. Now, this study says that certain biomarkers present in your blood can be used to determine your condition. These biomarkers serve as indicators of your biological state, markers for happiness or sadness. For this study, researchers relied on the most important biomarkers: RNA, which like I told you, is ribonucleic acid, DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, and blood protein. There are 9 others, but these are the major biomarkers in the human body. So scientists studied these biomarkers to track the mood of patients over a period of time. They spotted these biomarkers depending on how you're feeling. And then they used antidepressants to see how the biomarkers responded, how they changed after the antidepressants. So now we have a list of biomarkers or conditions and the medicines that work best on them. To put it very simply, what these scientists did was connect physiology with biology, combine physiological causes with the biological basis of depression. They say this can cut down on years of trial and error. Frankly, that's what we've relied upon so far, trial and error. That's what characterizes the treatment of a mental health condition so far. This experiment can change all of that. It can replace hospitalization and psychiatric procedures with a precise medicine. Today, it takes years for full symptoms of depression to evolve and years more to treat it. This study says that through objective blood tests, patients can be provided with immediate relief, just as they do for a fever or cold. It sounds good to hear, but how well can it be executed? So far, scientists have tried this treatment on 300 patients, and it has worked on all of them. There are millions out there who suffer from depression. Can they all be treated through a simple blood test? We hope they can, but science, we know, works on evidence, so we'll have to wait and see. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.